The others are on the right track. You are selfish first. Maybe they're 6 now. Get out. Get out. The atmosphere from the bad person 01 again radiated sweetly. I gave you a clear warning. Anyone who wants to enter the sword race, you have to win. The blade of the sword is on me. He held the sword behind him. Oh my God. That sounds scary. But that. If we were afraid of that, we wouldn't be here. He turned a spinning sword. It's creating this strange wind. Suddenly, the disciples finally came in. He hesitated a little before going inside. You seem to be worried. Let your brother fight alone out there. After a while questioning myself, he also jumped into the cave. Follow the crowd. Back to nothingness, he held out his hand, bending the sword. Your voice is loud and you can do whatever you want. He threw his sword to the ground. Make a big explosion. The dust is flying massively. Then nothing is too helpless with too many opponents. He distracts the front fly into the sword strain. And the Kier people will probably go in and think about it. A loud man shouted after him. You can't let them get a sword. Stay away if you don't want to die. Whoever gets in my way, I will kill. When the Kier kids are fighting every step of the way. And the red Superman jumped up. Fly in first. The two of them met in front of the store. I don't know what we're trying. The deputy gnashed his teeth. Want to fight? You're laughing. We don't need to spend any time here. They both jumped into the cave. Sailed down the tunnel without hesitation. Outside, the grass leaves are still fighting each other. They're killing their own kind mercilessly. Some people are quicker to get to the strains. The bad guys. Stop when you can't see the treasure. They're going to kill everyone who gets in their way. Fighting, rushing into the army. A moment later, the General Buttocks arrived. Why is this commotion? What else have you gathered them for, young man? White sky breathing rosy liver voice. Middle but argument. How do we know they're this crowded? He brandished his sword, oh my God. Whether you know it or not. We have to go too. Big white sky along the way. Let's all make sure. Because acting carelessly from now on will be fatal. The Yogin said yes, master. He holds the sword in his hand. It's so hot. Everybody stay out. I warned you. Let's go. The whole group flew towards the sword. Middle buttocks voices fluttering in the air. Swordplay strain. Lin Pharmacy, Lin Pharmacy. Internal work, internal work. Useless people, get out of my way. Swiping a sword. Beating up a bunch of roadblocks. Every single person. To accept a stop. I don't even know why. Middle ass screams. Anyone who touches my stuff will die. The white sky sighed. A man with a sword came to attack you. White sky prop. Counter a blow. Make him regret what he just did. Looking at the Kier people. The back is starting to attack. People who stop for a moment. By the atmosphere of the middle butt, they're starting to pay attention to us. It's not like this is not a martial arts match. It's just that the middle butt is leading, so we don't feel it. This place you just ran. Constantly stomping on the pools of blood beneath his feet. Blood splashed all over my face. You're upset. Put your hands down. Tell yourself that soon it will be a billion hells. We have to be more alert. My ass screamed and I saw it. The entrance of the sword race. Let's all jump in. The dragon god has no conscience. That AI's voice is stopping you. Look around for where the sound is coming from. From a distance, a person speaks as if from a loudspeaker. They steal other people's money like that. Then at least lead us, Theo. The name is the owner. I can't believe he could chase me this far. She looked like a puzzled face. Why skin is really. He called the master to turn around and look at him. He stared in the direction of the owner. A man near him suddenly attacked. Like the owner's manure dodged the armpit. Hard clamping of the enemy's weapon. He spun the spear, gave him a fatal blow. He scowled silently, thinking of these bastards. Forgot all the way into the sword race and stopped us. You think we're easy to deal with? Finally, why do the dead paint flowers here can penetrate? Those people. He turned around and told his friends. You useless beggars, open the way. They stutter about it. Chased all the way here. We, the subordinates, have lost a lot of strength. We subordinates cannot do it. We cannot compete. Retreat quickly, branch leader. The branch leader angrily retreated. You say that can hear. The sword is right in front of Kier. Suddenly, he glanced and discovered Ra. The people in the ass have disappeared. Finish a push-up. Create another explosion, but smaller than the case of nothingness. The whole crowd was in utter confusion. Chinese voice echoed from the smoke. What are you doing? Move fast. There is nothing to eat there. Come here quickly. Branch leader scared. Oh yeah, I know. But wait, the beggars are too tired. We must lead them all. But with this situation, then cannot keep up with your speed. The others immediately pointed their swords at Chung Myung. He clicked his tongue in frustration. Blink. A dark shadow rushed over the heads of the beggars. A hand came from somewhere and grabbed their collars. Throw them away like a toy. The branch owner was shocked. Hey, why did you throw them? The beggar was thrown away screaming in horror. A few seconds later, he fell into the sword race. One by one, the other names were all killed by Chang. Although a bit violent. But in the end, the result. Still as the branch leader wanted. Is to help the beggars go quickly. Cave-in sword species. Without missing a single name. Middle but done. He glared and thought. All the usable ones are already inside. The rest of the people outside are just useless. If wait a little longer, then maybe more useful people will come. Like wasting time in this place. Not a wise choice. Looking back, this place is a square clearing nestled in the middle of a dense forest. Furthermore, the soil in this area also glows red. Looks like a martial arts arena. But now, that does not matter. You worry every step I take, one by one, I fall. But on the ground. Backswing. You come here. So see you again. He flipped himself up high. Aim straight for the sword cave. Fall deep inside. That bloodshot made the rocks around the cave explode. Form a barrier. The crowd outside was shaking. No error is crashing. The middle butt is like that, following the monks and the deputy sect masters group. Back a few minutes ago, when the last beggar landed painfully. A loud red demon killer. Do you know how you got here? What does it mean? Means you have become a competitor. With the Devil 3, kill me. He is the invisible devil captain in Ghost Killer 3. He said in a threatening voice. You must have support outside. But under this grave, it is different. Even if you die, no one will know. Ha 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 ha. Chung acted as if he didn't hear them. He said to Bok Thin. What to do, uncle? They don't listen to us at all. Bok Thin turned around and replied, now we don't know anymore. Anyway, they are standing in front. So there is no easy way to get through. Although they are quite famous in Hunan. But we have to knock them down to get through. Get ready. Just finished. A stream of air appeared from the cave mouth. That evil police officer still doesn't know what's going on. Then was pressed down by Chung's butt from then on. Chung Myung frowned and asked what these guys were. A name also belongs to the devil. Glanced over and didn't have time to say it out loud. I am the one who should be asking that question. Who is that? Oh, never mind AI. In the end, he still didn't know who that person was. Only heard the last sentence. First have to hit it. Each name fell into a deep sleep. Just ask the Chinese people who are these people. Bok Thin raised his chin and replied that they were the 3 evil spirits. Heard that. People who are famous for being more fearsome than tigers in Hunan. Middle but laugh. What does 3 times mean, die 3 times? Why do these mediocre people come here? Bok Thin helplessly replied softly, they are not so ordinary. They are people with that name. Then he was silent and wondered. This kid's standard. How different is it from ordinary people? What a monster name. The 3 demons and 3 assassins were all lying around. Bok Thin took the big pieces of rock. Feel so sorry for those people. Chung Myung asked, is this the door? Bai Tian and Yogan have finished arranging those big pieces. Nodded and said it seemed like that. On the stone surface is engraved the word sword breed. It was so exciting to say. What is the problem with carving the name of the grave? Who carved the name of this swordsman? Yogan hesitated. It's not the Sao elixir. This is his grave. Engrave his own name on his grave. Don't you think that's a bit paradoxical? Zhu1 is stupid. That's what you hear. Middle butt continues. Normally, the name is engraved after the grave is finished. But right from the entrance, this place is listed as a sword. And so far, we haven't discovered any tombs yet. Qian asked the opposite. If you take the sword without money, he carved the sword on his grave. Let the whole world know about it. It could be that. How do we know who died 200 years ago? What do we think? But we can be sure of one thing. This place is not a pharmacy. And the creator of the throne, this grave is not ordinary. The buttocks continued. Dig a deep cave and build a 7-inch jelly. Surely that person must have tremendous ability. That we can't imagine. Don't relax. I'm a little nervous looking at you. You are serious, because this is no ordinary grave. The manager came over and asked what you were going to do now. With the power of all these people, we are here. It's not going to be easy to dig out. Look at the people who came down here before us. Then you can see. This place is no different than a tiger cave. As far as I can see, we should look and ally with decent people. It's not a bad option. We have to prioritize power generation to take full control of the swordsmanship and confirm if there's a mixed knit. In the ass, sighing, if they're the ones who can share the spoils. In such a peaceful way, I didn't come in here. And certainly, thinkers were soon allied with each other. And doing what you just said. The martial arts fuses and melts to pursue their purpose. It's too normal. Easy to assemble in a group. Easy to disperse depending on the purpose. On the outside, they may be enemies. But to be able to go deeper into this place, they can only work together. Because the strongest of the 9 factions in the state, we've been in here before. Despite the reputation of those who come here, no matter how high. Standing in front of the clock, it's just a firefly in the sun. Before the existence of that giant enemy. Of course, they'll ally with each other instinctively. Let's kill them. Let's reduce the power of martial arts. Because there's a serpent in the back that's 5 inches away. Thoughts of the middle butt flashed. The flaming eyes looked so hateful. The deputy boss also felt him squint his eyes, thinking. Look at his expression. It seems like everything is still going according to plan. He called Hoa Sun then Long. I don't know what you're thinking. But you know that, if they get a mixed function, then it's all over. If you act, you must act now. I closed my eyes, of course. Let's go. Chen and the others nodded at the same time. I know, the vice president said. The middle of the butt looked uncomfortably at him. Are you going to bury yourself? He replied quickly, I can help you too. You shake your hand. Have you ever seen someone help you? Hot-blooded deputy boss. I'm not a chicken. Are you chasing me? Don't blow your breath. Life is about helping others. If we go out there, we'll be very helpful. I am the pink light. If you think about it, you'll see that I can do the same. Give it a look. It helps us to die faster. Except you have some information. Then you realize I'm okay. If we can establish a connection with the state sect to dominate this information network to some extent, you can use them whenever you need to. Images from the past pop up in your head. You're full of annoyance. The strange face is displayed. A few seconds later, he asked for help. If you're the owner of the state, what is your position? The vice president is a bit surprised. Even if there are 6 people in the world, the amount of food, you're not even 100 people above me. The buttocks continued. So when? You can also pick up a third name. Is it not that the great light worship Ra's face like? It's an obvious question. If it's 3, we just need to crank one toe. It can also be caught. That's the great smile of the middle butt. That's good. During his time in the swordsmanship, I'll push along. But we have a condition. Momentum, the embarrassed owner, asked what conditions. Catch me a beggar. In the Wuan division of the state. He asked which beggar. The spooky red eyes glowed out. Your ass looks like you've caught a real enemy. You said your voice trembled. Tone 8. His name is 8. The owner doesn't know that person at all. Do you squint? It is not as hard as knowing him. The buttocks laughed. Do you know that I owe him a favor? A favor that we must pay. That's what it's been like since the Middle Ages. You've been hit 8 times, and you want to die a second time. And then you turn around and walk away. Look puffy in the face. I don't know what that 8-year-old beggar did. But first, I expressed my deep compassion for him. Assistant boss aesthetic. All 10 people. They walked deep into the cave looking for strains. The VA's deputy's attention must be an object on the ceiling. This place is brighter than I thought. I can even see Min Show. Where people can't go. It's decorated like this. It's also attached to Min Show. It means that the power of a man called the elixir, it's not small. There's nothing strange about it. A piece of his knitted medlar. That's worth 1,000 gold. What's that noise? When he looked up, he saw the middleman. What's he doing up there? When you ask a question, you look back without knowing it. We're making money. What are we doing? Your whole body glowed because of Mingzu's energy. Red Deer couldn't say anything more. Just think of yourself as the leader. He has to go first, so everyone can follow. Now you're paying attention to these things. I don't know. Vo is already getting the knitting mixture. They stole the ceiling. You still hear your words. Not yet. He asked why you know. Because we're still going, he replied. He sweats aesthetically. Maybe he could feel their anger. I only have a passing feeling. There are people in front. I don't even feel anything else. Even, it's so vague that we can't be sure. And this guy said it as if he'd felt it. There are people in front. The ability to sense the aura of a young man like him. How excellent it must be. I can feel that way. He spoke again. But they'll come before us. Middle buttocks calmly replied yes. So the more comfortable we are. He suddenly returned to ask comfortably. He tossed his eyes as far as he signaled. Just go and you'll see. Oh my God. It's Min Show again. The vice president thought, can you believe this kid? Chun Cotton said the hallway seems to be getting narrower. White Sky looked around. I feel the same way. When we were at the beginning. Wide hallway, enough for a young man to stand on a sidewalk. Since when is this place only narrow enough for 3 people to pass through? It doesn't have to be intentional. Yo One looked up at the ceiling. But I've smelled something unpleasant since. Jisoo claims the smell of blood. My ass is no different than a firefly right now. You're excited to see it. You jump to the ground. Go ahead at the same time. Suddenly, the whole crowd stood empty-eyed and watched in horror. In front of, a lot of dead people were laying around the aisle. The white sky is a little strange. The blood that comes out of these people's mouths is not red. It's black. Some of the people who came before me used SAO poison. The master looked at them carefully as he said, and then you raise your voice, and you have an organ. Middle Cotton asked bewildered. Take a good look. The needles pierced Kai's body. The direction of the needles. It's not a direction either. It's 4 directions. The ocean's frowning, so this whole hallway has traps. A life of compassion. Set up an evil trap like this. In my grave. Maybe it's a little better this time. Stuttering Cotton chum but chum butt. Body where Kier but straight body made SAO. If you stand here, the more likely you are to be poisoned. So let's go first. And don't touch anything that's dangerous around you. White said we know. Middle buttocks lead through the bodies in Kier. White Sky cut face no more a drop of blood. You say to yourself, this is what it's like to be a gangster. Now we are in a place outside the protection of Hoa Sun. It feels so different. The more I think, the colder I feel. Yo One is sweating, he asked. Whether he's set up more institutions like this. How do we know? I don't know a person called a pharmacist. What kind of person is that? But we can be sure of one thing. This place is not just a treasure. You said you were quiet. If this place, it's simply a place to hide weapons. Or used as a grave, there's no need to install so many organs. Certainly behind the agency, there's a hidden agenda of the creator of this tomb. Depending on what the intent is, the level of danger varies. Suddenly, the owner stood up. He said, make the others stop all this. And this Min show is different from the ones we've been looking at. See? It looks special and expensive. End of words. He had that red jewel in his hand. Horrified middle buttocks scream out loud. What are you doing? He laughed, ha ha ha. You're slow this time, Lord Dragon. Min Show Evening Ball has special color. This is what we found before. Maybe you're not going to take it all. Is Min Show here mine? At least let me get a session back. Your mouth feels like you want to eat your opponent alive. It is clear that I told you not to touch anything strange. Those who go ahead. Behind the remote. I don't know what's going on, Just stand back and watch. A thick stream of air from where it's like going to the vice master. The terrified man realized what he had done. The cave is about to collapse. Without hesitation, the whole group started to run. Everyone was scared and used all their strength to run. Scream your ass if you don't want to die. Then run fast. The owner also shouted, "The beggars run." Even if you die, you have to run. If you don't run, you die. Chinese Cotton is running and swearing, so I wasn't going to hang out with the beggars. That's duck head water. I told you not to touch anything. Why did you touch it? But you also want to hang out. The beggars are crying. We've met the wrong boss. So now I have to suffer like this. I know how it goes like this. The light thinks. The dragon god is like that. Then nothing happens. I just touched one. That's what happened. And then he accidentally looked up. The rock has cracked and is about to fall. He screamed to hold on. If you look back, you will die. Realize something. White sky warns everyone. The path is getting narrower and narrower. We have to run after each other. Chung Cotton clicked her tongue in dissatisfaction, and then stomped on the big light and said out loud, "Run even faster. If you slow down, we will all die." He tearfully bit his teeth thinking, the red dragon. Why did you make this mistake? Being beaten is worth it. He ran out the back and said, "Don't look back. Even if you die, you have to run. Keep running." People are running very smoothly. The rock is falling at a terrifying speed. 01 who dares to look behind. Zogun now says Big Gray. There is a light at the end of the road. The white sky pushed the light and spoke faster. Faster and faster. Soon, everyone. The Chinese are now behind the group, he said aloud. Jump now. You're going to hit the beggar in the back. He was pushed up. The back person pushes into the front. They've all been pushed out the door of death. The cave has completely collapsed. 01 who has to stay. Dong Da master breathing red. I can rejoice in my heart and live. Only the hallway collapsed. You're safe here. But there's one who hasn't shown up yet. White and the others called out. Middle ass, middle ass. Brothers and sisters call out. There's no answer. They immediately ran to the rocks to try to find someone. Chun Cotton shouted, "Chun ass, hear me call." The pink man trembled. Stand up and call out. Hoa Hoa Sun God Long. The mountain god just called. He thought the young sword. Maybe Ra became a pillar in the gang. Just because of my negligence. That? His knees fell down. He trembled because of me. Because of me. The flower of the dragon. The rocks blocking the cave suddenly flew out. A whole bunch of gaping mouths. The boy's feet slowly came out. Middle ass is safe. The owner is glad to come. Hold his hand and tell him you're alive. The boy squeezed his hand. Shin-Hoa-san, God long wait a moment. You look angry. You must have a lot to say. But if it can all be solved with words, the war didn't happen. Just hit first. The scene after that was so heartbreaking that 01 AI dared to look at it. Move to the front a little bit. The martial arts are in a hurry. The elders take the lead. He just walked and muttered about the countless Buddha experiences. 01 AI slow down. Keep rushing. But no one knows what's inside. The elder accidentally stepped into the trap. He clicked his tongue. The big blades, coming from the front to them. But I'm a master myself. A book that broke the blade. He seemed annoyed that the elixir was a strange man. He's laying these traps in his grave. Without slowing down, the people moved. Now the man behind reported to the elders. They're still following me. Sweat began to flow on the elder's face. He thought if all the chasers followed, we can all get in. They will hinder each other, or kill each other and die. But there's less people coming in than we thought. And all the strong. Even those guys aren't just not wary of each other, but they're connected. With the intention of first stopping the most formidable. Is martial. It's suspicious. Something's not quite right. We can't shake it off, thinking that there's someone behind all this. Maybe it's the name of Hoa-san. No, it can't be him. He can think of a shallow game. It's about the museum. But he can't create all this. The person behind said, Elder, there's a lot of pressure behind them. They're closing in. When he heard that, he said nothing. Try to stop those who are following you. As much as possible, I'm going to take some of you forward quickly. 3 of you follow me. We've got to get the knitting mix. He just said he thought. Control of those who are following behind. It's definitely not a top book. Me and the others run ahead. It's a burden for the rest of us. But now, even if you have to sacrifice the majority, you also have to win the knitting mixture in your hand. There was a strange blue light in front of him. He shouted. The poison bent down. One hand, he then wiped out the arrows. He said aloud, It's extremely toxic. Where is this? In front of the shadow of a group of people approaching. Said the elder. There are human traces in front. And he watched. He opened his mouth thinking I saw it. In the dark swordsmanship, people can't get in here. Something is moving, but fucking completely. I don't feel alive. The old man is screaming furiously. Gongthi, what the hell is this place? What the hell do you think, alchemy? The soldiers rushed to attack. The elder said again, They're dead bodies that can't rest. Think of them as stone carcasses.